This is a short video to go over all of the forms for practicum, and the first one is for teacher candidates only. It is really called, it's a form that the teacher candidate signs, and it really is all about this EdTPA assignment. Now, the students are not completing an actual EdTPA that will be part of Pearson or be graded at the national level. This is really a form signed more for formality purposes. Most students are only completing a practice part of the EdTPA. Some students in Practicum 2 are completing a full EdTPA, but it's still not going for national scoring. But the main thing is that the teacher candidates acknowledge that they need to maintain confidentiality of students. This is a permission form for any student who, K through 12, who's visually impaired, who would be videotaped. This has been tailored more for this practicum experience, and basically any child who's going to be videotaped will need to have the parent or legal guardian sign this. The field-based experiences checklist is a form that is really used to guide some of the activities that can take place during the practicum. We used to have teacher candidates try to do specific activities during a specific week. For example, go observe an IEP meeting. Well, of course, the reality for most cooperating teachers is that there may not be an IEP meeting to observe that week. So what we did is we came up with sort of this menu of different options for teacher candidates to engage in. And the idea is that this form be reviewed near the beginning of the term to discuss possible activities that can be completed, and that they use this form over the course of all 3 practicum placements. If they're doing their student teaching, if they're doing an add-on endorsement, they don't need to do the student teaching, and that there's a way to mark the form. So first of all, you sort of tally mark it if you have had, say, maybe 3 experiences, and then if you say it's more exposure, general use, and you put an E, and this would be for Practicum 2 students. So that's the field-based experiences checklist. Then we have the observation of teacher candidate teaching skills practicum form. This is used for any of the observations that are conducted by the cooperating teacher or university supervisor. There is an electronic version of this same form in GoReact. If you're a cooperating teacher and you opt to use GoReact, university supervisors will all be piloting it. Now, what goes along with the observation form is the lesson plan, and this is a template that we use that mirrors this assignment that teacher candidates will be talking about, which is the EdTPA. So this is really simply a boilerplate template, which is very similar to any kind of lesson plan. The one thing that is tricky is that the teacher candidates are asked to write a lesson that focuses primarily on an academic area, and then you'll notice that the secondary area is expanded core curriculum. For the lesson plans that are part of an EdTPA related assignment, they do need to include the primary and secondary learning targets, as well as a communication target. For observed lessons, it is okay for them to only focus more on expanded core curriculum. If I were to redesign the EdTPA, it would be that the ECC is really more of the primary, and then the academic areas would be secondary. This form is a log of hours, and it's used to keep track of how many hours students are maintaining throughout the program. Teacher candidates can track hours for consultation, hours in teaching, hours in conference. Some of that consultation can include observation. Some of the teaching really also can delve into sort of assessment of students, and hours in preparation, observation. Some hours for travel. I'm kind of vague about that. It certainly could be half of the time, but I think that maybe an hour or a week would be reasonable. And that, of course, is really the nature of an itinerant teacher. And then all that information is calculated. I recommend that this be reviewed after the first couple weeks just to kind of gauge how the hours are stacking up, and also certainly look at this at midpoint to make sure that the teacher candidate is on track. And one form that I do not have yet is the field experiences evaluation form. That's completed at midpoint and final. What I want to share now is that all of these forms will be signed and submitted to the PebblePad workbook. So there's a little pull down for each of the forms I've just discussed, and then there's a little placeholder for teacher candidates to submit. The field experience checklist is reviewed at the end of the term as well, and then uploaded into TK20 once we get signatures from the cooperating teacher and university supervisor. Same here for all of the observations of teaching. The forms go here, so you can fill out the form as an electronic form in Word, or you can print it out and fill it out. You can use the Go React version, but once it's completed, then it goes here. Now the Go React version doesn't have a signature line, so I'm telling teacher candidates, or I will tell them, that they can just add a comment saying that they reviewed this with their university supervisor and or cooperating teacher. The midpoint and final evaluations will go here, and then the final log of hours, again signed by the cooperating teacher and university supervisor, will go here as well. So that's it for the forms.